Oh!
We first went pike fishing around 10 years ago, and whilst learning and researching about how to catch them, we found that there was a minefield of information out there and endless rigs and baits and tactics to use. To be honest, it felt really complicated, but over time we've realised it doesn't have to be, and in this video we're going to show you a few simple, tried and tested pike fishing tactics that anyone can go out and use to catch pike.
Oh! Oh! 20-pounder!
Firstly, a little bit about the species. The pike we catch in the UK and Europe are part of the Essex genus, which is a group of predatory fish that include other species such as the muskie, a popular target in the USA and Canada. We actually once fished for muskie in Canada, and after 2 whole days of fishing we finally caught a pretty big one. They're like a bigger, more muscly version of the pike we have in Europe.
Yeah, you got him, you got him!
Oh,
Yes!
oh.
Yes! Get him, get him in! Yeah!
Pike are fast and powerful predatory fish, which mainly prey on other fish species such as roach, rudd and bream. They are also known to prey on other animals such as frogs, ducks and even rodents running across the water's surface. They have beautiful patterns and colours on their scales and vary a lot in each individual fish. Their colours are also influenced by the water they live in. Often in clearer water, pike develop vivid markings, like these fish we caught in Sweden, which is a pretty cool sight for an angler. On the other hand, in murky water, pike sometimes go a lot paler in colour. They have been caught in the UK up to a massive 46 pounds, so you can see why so many anglers like to target them. So where are you likely to find pike? We've found them in almost every waterway that has a good number of smaller fish that they can feed on. If there's enough food for them, then pike are likely to be present. Most rivers, canals, lakes and reservoirs have a healthy population of pike, but your best bet is to research your local waters and see what other anglers have caught. You can of course also scout out waters with polarised glasses and look carefully for pike in the water. However, they are very well camouflaged, so it often takes a trained eye to spot them. You join us on this very autumnal day at our local river. It's one of our favourite spots to fish for pike as there's miles of water to explore. It's sometimes quite hard fishing, but normally we manage to catch 1 or 2 throughout a session. Carl was doing the fishing today and I was filming with the help from cameraman Josh. Weirpools are one of the best places to find pike, where fast raging currents meet slack water where the predators will often be lurking. Weirpools are also often deeper than other parts of the river, so fish will choose to hold up in these areas to hide from predatory birds such as cormorants and herons. Carl swung his bait into the pool and just moments later the float shot under with a large swirl from the attacking pike.
Oh, it's gone. I've got a bite. Now what you want to do, just check your drag is all set, ready to go. Reel down till you feel the fish and then strike. And he's on.
In fishing, there's nothing more exciting than watching a hungry predator attack your bait. It really is heart-stopping stuff, even for me behind the camera.
I've hooked something. A very lively little pike. Got him.
So the first pike fishing tactic we learnt as kids was float fishing. We actually have a full tutorial on how to tie this exact rig, but it basically consists of quite a big float that will hold the weight of a large dead or live bait. This is stopped by a float stop threaded up the line so you can set the depth that you want your bait to sit at. Beneath the float is a bullet weight to cock the float and hold your bait down in the water. Tied onto the line is a wire trace with 2 sets of treble hooks. The hooks are tied on in an interesting way by spinning the wire around itself with a pair of forceps. But as I said, we have a detailed video on how to do this, so feel free to check that video out. We actually squash the barb of 2 hooks on each treble and leave 1 still barbed. The barbed hooks go into your bait and help the bait stay on, and the barbless hooks make unhooking the pike easier when you catch one. Hook bait choice is up to you really. Live baits work really well, but as do dead baits such as smelly mackerel, smelt or lamprey. Our best advice would be to check out your local tackle shop to see what they have in their freezer. Another good option if you're into sea fishing is to Catch some mackerel throughout the summer months. Often near the coast, the mackerel come in very close to the shore at the end of summer, and you can actually catch so many. And we've done that in the past, and then just stocked up our freezer, and we've got bait for the whole winter. The rig is pretty simple. The most important aspect of using it effectively is to cover water and drop your rig in as many different spots as possible. If there's a hungry pike in your swim, it will normally take the bait quite quickly, and we like to adopt the approach of 10 minutes in each swim and then moving to a new spot. Pike will sometimes actively seek out prey, but most of the time it seems that they are ambush predators, waiting in a safe place for the unlucky fish to make a wrong move. We always look for cover when choosing a spot to fish. This can be in many forms, such as dying lily pads, reeds, overhanging trees, weed, and even man-made cover like bridges and weir pools. Pike will choose these areas to sit and wait for prey. Over time though, you will get a better idea of where the pike like to sit in your local waters. As with everything, the more you do it, the more you will learn. We find a 3-pound test curve carp rod of around 10 foot long works quite well. We pair this up with a 4,000 size reel loaded with 30-pound braid. Having a braided main line rather than a monoline helps set the hook easily due to the lack of stretch. You can really notice the difference once you've tried using braid. We would definitely recommend it. We got quite lucky on this particular day, catching a couple of fish in a short session, but it isn't always like that. Some days can be really tough, where it seems like there's no fish left in the water. On another recent session, we fished a few miles of riverbank and caught absolutely nothing. In contrast, some days can be really hectic, with pike attacking your baits here, there and everywhere. Carl and his mate Ryan had some epic action on the river last winter, where they were catching numbers of fish over the double figure mark, and even landing one which weighed in at 26 pounds, all caught on that same simple float rig that we showed you earlier.
Ryan's just hooked up into a pike. Whoa, mate, this is really pulling back. Oh, Ryan, that's going some.
That's 20.
Yeah, that's your 20, mate. That's your 20.
It's because of days like these which keep you persevering through those harder sessions. Anyway, it's time to jump over to another one of our local waters to do some lure fishing. But before we get into that, I'd quickly like to mention that we spent the last few years writing a simple fishing guidebook. So if you're keen to learn more about a load of different fish species and how to catch them, then you can pick up a copy now on our website linked below. I only discovered and learnt how to catch pike with lures more recently, probably around 5 years ago, but I soon got the bug and it quickly became my favourite way to catch predatory species such as perch and pike. It's an active method which involves loads of casting, walking and constantly being on the move. For people who are impatient and struggle to sit still for longer periods of time, then you'll love lure fishing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was so close in. Woo. Wow. We're getting this one in our big net. Not getting away with it this time, mate. Yes.
It's not a very big one, but I think lure fishing is all about that bite. There's nothing more exciting, and it can be also very effective, especially when you've only got a short session, short amount of time available. You can just grab your lure rod, make a few casts, and you can catch pretty quick.
Oh, wow! It jumped out of the water for it. That was nuts.
Sometimes pike live in the most unexpected spots, and I dropped my lure in this little weir pool that comes out of a lake, and I managed to catch this pike. It almost jumped out of the water to get the lure, and in these little pools they're sometimes the most ravenous and fearsome fish. Yeah, check that out. Wow.
You really don't need much tackle to go lure fishing. A spinning rod of around 7 or 8 foot paired with a medium-sized spinning reel is the ideal setup. The shorter and lighter rod makes holding it all day a lot more comfortable. As with float fishing for pike, I always like to use braid on the reel. It helps you control the lure and allows you to feel even a gentle tap from a fish as it takes your lure. Tied onto your braid is a trace. This is of course made of wire to avoid the pike biting through it. On the end of the trace is a quick clip. These make changing lure really easy. When it comes to lures, there are thousands of options. It can be quite confusing to know what to use. Personally, I find most lures will work. Pike attack when they see something move like a fish, so choose a lure that you think will best imitate the prey of a pike. It can be quite fun to try out and experiment with loads of different lures, and this is the best way to find out what ones work for you. A couple of things to remember when choosing lures to use are the weights and sizes. For example, on our local river, you need some weight to get the lure down into the fast flowing water. Likewise, on a deep lake, you'll also want a heavier weighted lure to get that lure down deeper. Pike lures come in a massive range of sizes, from tiny spinners to great big 30cm lures like this beast. I tend to go for smaller lures which are likely to be taken by pike of any size, but I do know anglers who only want to catch bigger fish and will purposely use a larger lure to avoid the attention of smaller ones. This is completely up to you, but if you're just getting started, then smaller lures are probably the best choice. But just have fun with it really, chop and change and experiment and see what works on the waters that you fish. On this particular session, I only had little jack pike, but in the past, lures have caught us some big ones too.
It's too deep diving. Oh! 20 pounder! That is a big pike.
Lure fishing is also a great method to learn, as it will open up so many more fishing opportunities for you, and especially if you get the chance to travel to other countries. I had my personal best pike on a lure whilst travelling in Holland. If you want to learn more about pike fishing, then click one of the videos on screen now. Cheers for watching.